Today I have with me the Realme V15, which is rumored to be launching as the Realme X7 in India. Well, with all the rebrands these days, it's quite likely, and even if it doesn't launch as the X7 in India, it's got only a couple of minor differences to the Chinese Realme X7. So let's take a look at all that here. Hey guys, my name's Ash, you're watching C4eTech, and if you do end up liking what you see, subscribe. Let's get started. So this here is the V15 box, typical Realme yellow. We've got V15 and 5G branding to the sides and the regular branding to the back with an information sticker that says this is the 8GB RAM 128GB storage variant. Again, there's more branding, nothing else. Pretty much it. So now it's time for us to open the box. We are greeted by this yellow insert, and then we have the V15 itself, which we will get to in a moment. Now this insert, it's got Chinese text and there's some regular literature in Chinese again, and then that's followed by a soft TPU case. Let's now get back to the V15. Taking it out and removing all that plastic, this back is quite something, right? You're either gonna love it or think maybe a unicorn puked all over it. Me personally, I feel it is quite unique. It's got what? 4-5 shades here: white, yellow, blue, pink, red, orange. It's a huge mix of colors. Now getting back to the box, we have a USB Type-C cable with yellow accents, and then there's this SIM ejector pin which is followed by the charger. And it's nice of Realme to actually include a dongle. This is a Type-C to headphone jack converter, and the charger is super at 50 watts. So that's pretty much it for the box contents. And beat it up, in case you haven't noticed yet, the charger is included in the box. So anyway, let's now take a close look at the Realme V15. What is so special about this phone? It's just another mid-ranger, right? Actually, let's start with the highlights. What you might indeed like about the V15 or X7 or whatever you want to call it. First, this display. This is a brilliant looking AMOLED panel. It's plenty bright. It's supposed to be able to hit 600 nits peak. The aspect ratio is 20:9, so everything looks sharp. Pixel density is about 400 pixels per inch. But the selling point here is the fact that this is AMOLED. Now remember how Realme had 90Hz panels on their mid-rangers, one of the first brands to do it? Even Redmi didn't have it on their competing mid-rangers. That is not here. This is standard 60Hz, which is a disappointment in my humble opinion. I feel they should have gone with a higher refresh rate. That would have helped strengthen their portfolio in my opinion. Anyway, the next thing I think you guys will like are the optics. We have a triple camera setup to the back. The Chinese X7 has 4. This one just omits the depth sensor, so no biggie. The primary 64 megapixel sensor seems to be really impressive. The f1.8 lens makes for natural background blur, if and when you need it. Zoom into the shot and you can still see the detail. This was a 16 megapixel shot, by the way, which is what it shoots at by default. Even indoors, look at this picture of the FX9. Zoom in and you can see a lot of detail, right? Then there's a 8 megapixel ultra wide, and just like we saw with the HTC video recently, yes, I did say HTC and recent in the same sentence because I did do a video on the HTC Desire 21 Pro 5G a couple of days back. If you've missed it, which you probably would have, given YouTube does not send out notifications for C4eTech, so hey, card, check it out, share it if you can. Anyway, which coming back now, just like with that phone and many others in the mid-range segment, the colors, they vary between the primary and secondary. But that said, the detail levels are fair, at least at the center. There's a lot of distortion at the edges. So it is a mid-range ultra-wide, nothing special. The macro, well, it's a macro. The lesser I speak about it, the better. Video quality isn't great either, pretty grainy. Now moving on to selfies, they are decent. Now this is a 16 megapixel snapper. The Chinese Realme X7 has a 32 megapixel selfie camera, and those are pretty much the differences. There's an extra depth sensor, double the resolution for the selfie camera, barring that the V15 and the Chinese X7 are identical. Moving on, the innards are pretty strong. This one sports MediaTek's new Dimensity 800U chip. The 800U, it's an upgrade to the already stellar Dimensity 800. Though it is a newer chip, it's still built on the same 7nm manufacturing node, but brings with it clock speed boosts for both the CPU as well as the GPU. The CPU clock's gone up by 20% from 2 to 2.4 GHz, while the GPU frequency is supposed to have gone up by 30%. Well, all that's great, it doesn't make much sense to you unless you figure out where it slots in, right? So from a relative performance perspective, the CPU performance, it's supposed to be a tad better than Snapdragon 765G. And the GPU, it's supposed to get close. Of course, Qualcomm's competing chips generally hold the edge with GPU, but over here the difference is not all that much. Now, other specs include 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage, as we saw earlier. Realme also does offer a 6 GB RAM variant. The UFS 2.1 storage though remains a constant, which is quite important since Realme does not offer memory expansion on this one, only dual SIMs. Other placements are, well, pretty standard, nothing to write home about, so I'm not really going to get into it. So excellent display, decent cameras, strong internals, and what else? Okay, let's get to the back. I mean, I wouldn't fault you if you thought this was a Pride Special Edition. It's pretty flamboyant. And remember when I said this in the Poco video? And I'm not really a fan of this huge logo, whether it's from Realme or Poco. Large logos, I feel they're a huge no. That holds true here too. I'm not a fan. What I am a fan of though is the form factor. The fact that the phone has a 6.4-inch panel means it's actually one of the few mid-ranges that can be used in a single hand. It's not too thick either, coming in at just 8.1 millimeters, and it even happens to be pretty light at about 175 grams. Slim, light, you guessed it right. No 5000 mAh battery here. This one's a 4300 mAh battery, which should be fine with the included 50-watt charger. It's supposed to be able to go from 0 to 50 in 18 minutes flat. By the way, the Chinese X7 comes with a 65-watt charger. That's one more difference. That's the final difference apart from pricing. Anyway, the rest of the phone, it's pretty much what you've come to expect from a Realme mid-ranger. We get always-on functionality, which makes sense given this is an AMOLED panel. You can customize the color temperature, the OSIE effect to boost colors. That makes a return. You have the smart sidebar that you can slide in from the side. There is screen recording support. Everything feels pretty snappy. The Dimensity 800U seems to combine very well with Realme UI. By the way, Realme UI here, it's built on top of Android 10, not 11. So that, I feel they should have gone with 11 at this point, 2021. But any which ways, what does this cost? In China, the V15 starts at 1400 yuan, which is much cheaper than the Chinese X7's price. So if this does end up launching as the X7 in India, and they manage to price it at like say 17,000, 18,000 rupees, at that price, I think the V15 could be something people can definitely consider. While I'm not high on the fact that this one does not feature a 90Hz refresh panel, it's got stellar hardware, seemingly good cameras, fast charging with the charger included in the box, all at a seemingly reasonable price tag with a unique design nonetheless, which you might love or hate. I think this is a strong offering from Realme. A lot's gonna have to do with what they price it at. Any which ways, what do you guys think about it? Are you impressed by the hardware inside? What do you think of this back panel? Let me know everything V15 or X7 in the comments below. And with that, it is time for me to bid you adieu. Thumbs up, thumbs down based on whatever you felt about the video. Subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that bell icon if you haven't yet. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4E Tech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.